What is going on, everybody? It's Go-Karts, Mini Bikes, and more, and today I am working on my Azusa mini bike, and specifically I'm going to be installing the wheels on the tires. So I'm not actually messing with the mini bike at all today, but I did order the performance parts for my 212, so I will be doing an unboxing and install of that. So stay tuned and look out for that video. Alright everybody, so I'm in the garage now, and I set up a nice big table to work on. Now, I apologize in advance for the light not being the best, but hopefully it shows up on camera enough. I'm just trying to make a video just to get the build series of that mini bike going. So I thought I'd start off with doing something simple like the wheels and tires. So I'm going to get everything set up, and then we will start assembling the wheels and tires. Alright guys, so to begin with, the tires do come a little smushed out of the box, mainly because just the way they pack them. So you're going to have to use a little muscle to pull them out. And right now mine look like that, just enough so I can get the tube in, and then I'll smush them down and then fill the tube with air just to have the tire take better shape than this. So anyway, what you do is you take the tube and you put it inside the tire, and then you unscrew the tire valve and then just fill it up with, I believe it's 5 psi, just to again get the tube inflated so it takes a nice round shape in the center and also forms the wheel a lot better. So I'm going to go ahead and put the tube in the tire, and I'll show you what it looks like after that. Alrighty guys, so I got the tube in the tire. Now I should probably mention now, just so you don't make the mistake and deal with the frustration. That's basically what this whole series is about, just to show you what to watch out for and how to do it, just so you can save yourself a little time and frustration. Now, the valve stem is bent into like an L shape. You want that pointing out. You know, if you do it the other way, it'll be inside. I think once the tire inflates, it'll probably not make a difference. But just to be on the safe side, do it so it sticks out. Now I got the tube in, and what I did was I smushed the tire back down. Not sure if that'll help it take shape a little bit better or what, but I'm gonna give it a go. I'm gonna pause the camera, fill it up a bit, and we'll see how the tire looks after that. Now I should probably mention, if you're doing this at home by yourself, this will be a lot funner and a lot easier if you're not filming like I am, because I have to stand to get a good angle, because if I'm sitting down right at the table, it'll be too close and it'll just look really bad. So I'm standing this whole process, but if you're not filming, then you can sit in a nice comfy chair and do it at your leisure. So it'll be much more enjoyable. Alright, so I was in the process of filling the tire, but I decided to show you guys this this air filler tool. It has a pressure release valve, so you could take out the air of the tube or whatever you're filling, so you don't need to use, like, say, a rock or something like I used to do with my bike tires. But this is pretty efficient. As you can see, it fills up pretty quick. So that's pretty nice. So I'm going to get to situating everything, and then I'll film myself putting in the rims. Alright, and I got the two halves of the wheels on. And as you can see, let me turn on a light actually. As you can see, the wheels are actually, where is it? Right there is notch for the tire valve. So you're just going to make sure you line those up, as you could see just right there. After the tube filled up, you just wiggle around the wheels a bit and they go in almost effortlessly, so that's nice. So you don't have to fight it at all. And as you can see, filling up the tube actually made the tire take a lot better shape. So that's what you should do. And also, it's a lot easier to put the wheels on like that instead of fighting a deflated tire. So I'm gonna go ahead and take out the hardware, show you what hardware it has, and then I guess I'll grab a wrench and everything and bolt them together. Okay, so the hardware that you need that is supplied, that when you open the parts box that should be right on top of the wheels, it is 6 bolts and 6 locking nuts. As you can see, they have that little nylon piece in there. So I guess all I'm going to do, oh, another thing you should probably pay attention to is what tire you're doing, because you don't want to put the sprocket on the front wheel, because then you'd have to switch everything, which means unbolting the 2 halves just to take the sprocket off. So you're going to want to make sure you remember to do the treaded tire for the sprocket. So I'm going to drop these bolts through, because this is the front wheel right now, so you just bolt them on, and then I guess I'll turn on the video once they're bolted together, and then I'll fill the rest of the tube up and the tire up with air, and that'll be the first tire done. Okay, so I have 2 ratchets, both with, I believe, is a 1/2 inch socket. That's what fits these nuts and bolts. So all you do is you run the bolts, let me show you, run the bolts through one side and then peek through the bottom, the threads, and then you just put a nut on, put 1 wrench on the other side, and tighten the nuts with the other. Pretty self-explanatory. And then you just fill up the rest of the tire. I believe it's 30 PSI. Yep. Yeah, 30 PSI. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll show you what it looks like after it's bolted on without any air in it. So on this side right here, the tire seemed a little saggy, so I just filled up the tube a little bit more with about 10 PSI. I wouldn't go anything over that, mainly because it's already pretty full. I'm pretty sure that the PSI isn't 30. Let me check for that for a second. So on the tire, it's saying max is 50, but on the wheel, it's saying 30. Definitely think even 30 is a little much for this tire, as it would be rock hard. So I guess just fill them up until it feels pretty decent to you. It kind of all depends on how much it takes to set the bead, and also just your preference on how smooth you want to ride, considering the Azusa mini bike does not have any shocks. So I would probably keep it with less air, but not so little to where the tire isn't set on the wheel. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten these nuts and bolts, and then I guess I'll finish filling it with air. A little tip I kind of just found out for tightening the nuts and bolts on these wheels is you might want to sit down and put the whole wheel between your legs. This way it's not rolling all over the place when you're trying to get leverage on the wrenches. That's just a quick little tip. I'm sure you'll find your own way, but that's a way that seems like it's working, so I'm going to do that. I got to tell you guys, these nylock nuts are a blessing and a curse. They are nice because you don't have to use Loctite, but they're also bad just because they're a little bit more tiring to do, but not impossible. Now, I didn't read the directions, to be honest with you, so I'm kind of just going off the simplicity of how this looks. So what I'm doing, I'm sure you could get away with just tightening one side at a time, but what I'm doing is sort of like putting on a car tire and just going in a star pattern, or in this case a triangle pattern. So just to get an even pressure, because I'm not sure if tightening one side at a time would affect it or not, so I'm just going to be more safe than sorry. Okay guys, so I switched from using 2 ratchets, mainly because this one is broke. So when you put a lot of pressure on it, like such as tightening a bolt, it skips. So I'm just gonna switch to a normal wrench for the rest of the tightening. Now I don't know if these are grade 8 bolts, so I don't know how hard to really wrench on them, to be honest, because I don't want them to snap. They're nylock nuts, so I guess just do them until the wrench stops. So do them tight, I guess you could say, a little over snug, and then maybe a little bit turn after that, or just until they stop spinning. I guess that's really the best way to do it. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish tightening these and fill it up with air, and we'll have the first tire done. Alright guys, so I don't really want to say that this is hard to do, but it's not crazy simple, mainly because you have to put a wrench on one side and then another wrench on the other, and while you're focusing on this one, the other one's slipping off, and it's just a mess. Not to mention, once you get them tight, it is hard to get leverage on it, like I said, because you naturally want to pull up so the wrench slips off. But like I said, they're nylock nuts, so they shouldn't go anywhere anyway. I got them as tight as I can get. Like I said, I don't want to break the bolts or anything, but I don't think they're going anywhere. So I'm going to fill this with air. We'll move on to the next tire. And I want to apologize how long that this is taking just for the first tire, but I promise I'll try and make the back tire quicker. Alright, so that is the first tire done. I just filled it with air. I went up to 30 psi, and that seems to be pretty decent. It is a little hard, but if you want, maybe you could go 25 or something. Like I said, you're gonna have to experiment with it, but as you can see, it does bounce and everything. So that is the first tire done. On to the next one. Okay guys, so I'm gonna make the back tire a little bit quicker. I just want to show the back tire as well, just for the sprocket's sake. So let's get this going. The tube is in. Okay guys, so actually, without noticing, like I said, with the wrench slipping off these nuts, you're going to want to be careful because you will hit your knuckles on the edge of this wheel. And while putting on the back wheel, I noticed I am cut because of it. So just wear gloves, be careful, all that stuff. So let's get to the back wheel now. Okay, now we can really get this started. The tube is in and filled up. Okay guys, so that was frustrating to say the least. For some reason the back tire just gave up a lot more of a fight, and as you can see, the rims still aren't on all the way. I'm hoping once I put the bolts and nuts tightened, it'll all squeeze together. That's just wishful thinking. I'm going to test it and I'll let you guys know. Okay, so that seemed to work. I tightened one of the bolts and then I just filled the tire up to 20 psi, and that filled in the gap. Not sure if that's the right way to do it, but that's the way that worked, and I'll let you guys know how that goes. So that's pretty much it. Before you put the bolts on, you want to make sure you put the sprocket on and then the bolts through. Otherwise, you're going to have to undo the whole thing just to put the sprocket back on. So that's all I have for you guys today. Hope you enjoyed. Check out some of my other videos. Like, comment, and subscribe. Check me out on Garage Amino at Go Karts, Mini Bikes, and more. And I'll catch you in the next video. Take care.